And so we're here at the National Alliance of Independent Crop Consultants, sitting down with Reid Kelly of Stoneville R&D. First off, we'd love to know, how did you get into kind of field testing, crop testing? What was your road into it?
Yeah, so I grew up in an area that was just agricultural based. I mean, that's basically all we have. Got into research, working as a summer worker, and whenever I was in high school and college, and then fell in love with it, and the rest is history. So, been doing it ever since.
Stuck with it, got multiple degrees as you mentioned, and
Yeah. So got my master's, PhD, went all the way, and now I'm working at Stoneville R&D, a contract research organization in Greenville, Mississippi.
Yeah. What are the main types of kind of research trials do you do in Stoneville?
So we do multiple crops. Cotton, rice are probably our two biggest ones, but we do corn, soybean, peanut. We've done some grain sorghum, stuff like that are the main ones. And we do anything from efficacy trials, fertilizer, herbicides, insecticides, fungicides. We do a good bit of GLP work as well. So biologicals, basically anything we can.
Yeah,
do.
you name it, you can do it.
Yeah.
And when it comes like setting up a trial, doing it is a lot of work. What's kind of rewarding for you about it?
The most rewarding thing about it is seeing the different new products that our sponsors are testing and seeing them work and watching them from the discovery, when they make the discovery of a compound or something, and we get to test it, and then getting to see it eventually go into commercialization. It's probably one of the more rewarding things, but in season, just seeing how it interacts with different species of plants, and watching it work, the things that do work, so that's pretty cool.
Nice, yeah. And have you seen many things that you work on kind of go to farmers next door, start using them?
Yeah, so me being younger, not as much. I kind of came in on the back end of some stuff before it got commercialized, but I did get to work with it before it did get commercialized. But my boss, Tyler Horn, he got to watch. He's been in it for 25 years, so he's gotten to see a lot of them from the start to finish. So,
and when you usually do trials, it's varieties, it's different products, like you mentioned. It's not often a new type of kind of way of scouting. How is kind of crop scouting done currently, like in industry? Like, what's the way people measure, let's say, nutrients in crops?
Yeah, so in our area, it's different in all geographic regions, right? Everybody does it a little bit different because they're looking for different things. So I can speak on our region. It's mainly crop consultants, mostly. I mean, we have a pretty good independent crop consultant base in Mississippi, and it's basically walking fields. I guess that's what you're asking, is how these guys, they, sweep nets, tissue samples that they send off to labs, just getting out in the field, walking on soil sampling, stuff like that, by hand.
Is it done much for like the crops you're working with, cotton, rice, like these broadacre crops? Is there much like tissue sampling going on, or is it more like one or here or there when you see there's an issue in the field?
Yeah, so a lot of it is, when this data boom that we're going through right now in ag, it's being built up, kind of. They're stacking, growers and consultants and retailers that provide agronomic services like that. They, they're building databases for their growers to see year-to-year transitions and changes in their field, in all their fields. So I think the tissue samples are more of a problematic visual assessment, but I think what you're starting to see a lot more is they're identifying problem areas in certain fields, and which is allowing them to get ahead of it and go ahead and tissue sample and get to that issue and see it before it actually appears out in the field, right?
Yeah. So it's from our world in potatoes, where it was really like a weekly, ritual, going out, take a tissue test, do your foliar application based off it. Going into broad acres, there seems to be more of like a rescue sample approach right now, where if there's an issue, you do a rescue sample, try to figure out what's going on to save it, versus what might be the ideal way is to track it over time. Like you say, if you already know the problem areas or different zones in your field, if you go a couple times in season, you might get a better trend out of it, right?
Yeah. And then once you get prescriptions written from your consultants,
Yeah.
and you try to fix the issues before they come, well, there's always going to be some kind of issue come up, right? So I think continuing those samples as just a monitoring aspect is a good thing to have too, especially once you feel like you've gotten a grip on an issue that you've had in the past. Continuing to monitor those areas that you think you might have issues come up in the future is beneficial too.
You're keeping an eye on it as
Yeah,
it goes.
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So with this summer, you had the opportunity to use one of the Picketa LENS systems. I'm curious to know, like, when you first heard of the idea, what did you think?
I mean, I thought the concept and idea was super interesting. I thought it was really cool. I didn't really know what it was going to look like
Yeah.
and how it was going to work at all. Couldn't really wrap my mind around it until I saw the system whenever we got it, and then I was like, we did the trainings and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, well now it makes sense. Y'all did a really good job of explaining how the system works, and then I was like, okay, well, yeah, that I can see that now. Right?
How hard was it to get a grip of this, how the system worked?
I think not long, honestly. I mean, I think 1 or 2 training sessions with y'all and a little Q&A back and forth. It was pretty simple once you got that taken care of. Yeah, not very hard at all.
And did you like run into any errors or outliers while scanning leaves, and how did that go?
Well, I mean, I think we had some connectivity issues early. I think some of it was on our end too, so it wasn't all Picketa by any means. So, especially away from out in the field, I think that was where the biggest connectivity issues go. But other than that, once we got going with it, it worked.
Yeah. And how fast was it to kind of get results once you've scanned your tissues?
Oh, it was real time. I mean, it was basically real time. I mean, immediate. I mean, once you scan a leaf sample, when it got done reading it, it was automatic. I mean, it was up on the cloud or y'all's web page where you could go and look at it right then. I remember I had one of our employees at Stoneville R&D. I wanted to test it, right? I wanted her to scan a leaf while I was in the other room on the website and see it. And it was right then. So
there was not much delay between there.
Oh no, I mean, it was minutes at most. I mean, so
cool. For the system, like, what do you think needs to be improved, like, for next year?
I think possibly maybe including a hotspot or something like that for internet connectivity,
Cellular chip,
or something like that into the system. That way, no matter where you're at, you just take away that chance of connectivity issues, right? And I think that's a good one. And I mean, other than that, I think that was pretty much it. I think the updates, that would help some of the updates that y'all were doing this summer. Go ahead and, because that was another issue that we ran into was we'd set it down and have it charging, right, when we knew we were going to sample, and then we'd start sampling. We're like, oh man, they updated it. So having that connectivity to where maybe automatic updates, stuff like that, where it would just do it, would be a good improvement too.
Yeah, and we were doing updates like weekly, I think, on different things that were popping up and just trying to keep it stable.
Well, and it's understandable with something like this. I'm sure you're just constantly trying to improve and making adjustments, and so I get it.
Yeah, and like right now we're still developing the system and things. How do you see this type of device of having real-time tissue analysis change how agronomy research is done, in the industry? Yeah,
I mean, I think it saves you some money on shipping and analysis of samples to labs, and I still think labs are very beneficial to agronomics. And not saying that I think this would replace it, but I think if you are in a bind or in a hurry or something, or you're way far away, or if you forgot a sample bag or something, and you wanted to go check, a couple thousand acres or something like that in a day, where you can throw this in the truck, ride out to the field, you see something you want to check, drop the tailgate down and grab a leaf sample and scan it right there and see what the issues might be, right? And then, like you said, monitoring too. If you just wanted to take a couple random samples across a field or a farm, you can have that with you right there, and instead of waiting a week or a couple of days, it's right then and right there. So, the turnaround of a prescription would be a lot faster. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's about having different options, I was wondering too, like with what you're seeing in the industry, is there anything that's coming up just generally in new technology that you're particularly excited about seeing out there?
I mean, not particularly, honestly. I mean, I think, our agronomic practices we've got going are probably better than they've ever been, regardless of what some might see or hear or read about. And I think as a group, we a collective group in commercial agronomics, right? We're all pushing for innovation. Everyone wants to see and try to make things as best they could possibly can, right? So I think a collective group, everyone is trying to innovate and trying to be better and do better and make things better for growers and in turn everybody, right?
Yeah.
So just seeing, no specifics, but I enjoy
The
seeing.
pace of innovation is kind of rapidly speeding up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything before we head off you want to shout out about Stoneville, what you're doing, people looking to do trials?
Absolutely. Would love to hear from y'all. We if we can't do it, we'll help you find someone who can. But we'd love to have any kind of work or business with y'all anytime. Contact me. I've got a business card. I'm here at NAICC. Come see me. If not, look me up. I'm on LinkedIn, Reid Kelly, and be glad to talk with you.
And if anyone's looking for like detailed nutrient analysis in real time, you guys can offer it with the lens, right?
That's right. If you wanna test your products and get them scanned with the Picketa sensor, we have one on site right now, and we can add that into the protocols for you. So
super amazing. Well, thank you, Reid.
thank you. Appreciate it.